I refuse, even in places where I have to use Microsoft Office, to use the DocX format because I have no guarantee whatsoever that whoever the hell I'm emailing this file to or whatever is going to have the same version of Microsoft Office and it isn't going to reformat and look weird. It's just, I don't trust the DocX format at this point as a result of that, because they might have an older version of Microsoft Office, they might have WordPerfect, they might have OpenOffice, and if I send it to them in the DocX format, I guarantee they're going to have problems. That's just...
My advice at this point, send it as an open document thing. They actually added the ability to read that into Office 2010.
Yes. However, let's say, well, here's the thing. What we're coming down to is a basic courtesy when you send a file outside your office or when you send a file to another office. The basic courtesy that you should do when you send a file outside your local ecosystem where you don't have a clue what the computer on the other end is, what Office suite it's using, what OS it's using, you don't have a clue, is you should, like you say, send it in a more universal file format. That's not necessarily the open format. .doc qualifies as that at this point because it's at least the XP 2000 version of .doc. It's not, but nobody thinks to do this when they're emailing a file and sending it to somebody else. They don't think, you know what, maybe I should save this as a file format that I know they can read. No, I'm just going to save it as the default file format. Screw them. Their entire office should jump to and resuit us. And it's companies that don't get that they need to do that today, and that, you know, there's people using, maybe everybody doesn't have the latest and greatest. Maybe they have an older version of the Microsoft Office suite. Maybe they're not using the Microsoft Office suite. Maybe they're a law firm and they mess with 50 billion legal documents a day, and they need a Office production suite that allows them to have subsections and subsections and number subsections consecutively like you do in a legal document. And guess what? The only word processing suite that does that is WordPerfect. and all these other things. So I just find it interesting that, I mean, I didn't think OpenOffice market share had gotten large enough that it was actually threatening Microsoft Office share. Has it? Are that many people using the OpenOffice suite at this point?
Well, I know a lot of students do.
Yeah, because Microsoft changed the licensing with lower colleges for years. All colleges, including like lower junior colleges and high schools, were allowed to give Microsoft Office suites to their students. Well, of course, their students would upload these to the internet. So they've like changed their licensing with most schools that say, no. You can't give an Office suite to your students. They have to go to your computer lab. They can't work in their dorm. They have to go to your computer lab, to your computers. It's like, and the student's like, screw this. It's like, so, I don't know. I just find this ad funny. We'll put a link to it in the show notes.
A couple more things that I want to nitpick about this ad.
Go ahead.
I actually went through and decided one day to actually research everybody who was quoted in each of these ads. Found a couple of LinkedIn links and whatever.
Well, it's kind of hard to find out who they are because this is, even though this isn't this is like effective, Office videos or something, but all comments for this have been disabled, which I find hysterical. It's like, no, this is the way it is. We don't need no feedback. It's like,
I did track down some people, and I also tracked down as many of the companies as I could find, and I found a couple of ones that seemed like they were probably being disingenuous in how Microsoft quoted them. Like the third guy, David Sterling, who was an ICT manager of the Central Scotland Police.
Right.
Who was being played by a guy with an American accent. Anyway, he was talking about how when they tried to switch to an open system or whatever, that it required 30% more resources, 25% additional staff time. Initially, I was wondering which distro are they using that's causing all this problem, and apparently the answer is they built their own.
Wow.
Okay, to that I have the following to say. There's a reason many distros use things like GoOffice, because the work is done and done right with a good chunk of resources.
These guys are doing things the hard way. So at the point that I found that, I'm like, seriously, only 30% more with 25% additional staff when you're starting from scratch?
That's a miracle!
Like, holy cow, how can we get you guys working so hard?
Oh, damn, man. that is a miracle. That's like, oh.
So, let's see what... There was another one there that I wanted to talk about specifically.
That's great.
Yeah, that's perfect. That's like...
I got it for that video. That was pretty great.
Right, the sixth guy, Randall Kennedy, who was complaining that when he was running test files that OpenOffice was severely mangling kind of thing, whatever.
The poor support of macros?
What?
Was it the poor...
No, not the guy who was complaining about supporting macros. The one who just said that when he opened his Microsoft Office documents in OpenOffice, that it was severely mangling the documents in question. That one was taken from a website, InfoWorld, I think is what it was called. Does that sound right?
Okay. Anyways.
Anyway, he wasn't actually just saying that OpenOffice downright didn't work. He was doing this whole kind of test thing for people who are fed up with Microsoft Office and want to switch away. He was comparing it against a different Office suite called SoftMaker Office, which is another paid option. So.
Okay.
I don't know. It just seemed like it was dishonest that they seemed to be suggesting that you switch back to Office to get full compatibility, and they weren't. They were suggesting something.
Well, that's exactly what they're suggesting. That's what they're going after here. They're like, well, you're going to waste more money than our $1,000 per computer software.
It's what Microsoft is suggesting, but Randall Kennedy was actually suggesting SoftMaker Office.
What do they expect when they start from scratch? I mean, it honestly did not Ubuntu, PC Linux, OpenSUSE, Mint, did none of these distros fit their needs? Not one? I'm just saying that. All of which have rather stable versions of OpenOffice. And I hear about this, poor Microsoft files. Honestly, that's the last problem I have in OpenOffice. It is. I don't have problems opening Microsoft files. People send me docx files and they actually open. It's like I don't know what they're going after there. Now I don't ever save them as docx because OpenOffice, if you save docx, it gets weird. Like I save them as a .doc, and then I send the person who sent me a docx a nasty. You do remember we've told you that we use the following Office suite here, and we have told you at least 50 billion times, do not send docx files. I apologize if I've created a problem by sending this back in a format that can be opened well by other systems. And then they send me this whole apology-gram. It's like, oh, yeah, we forgot that the default is only systems, only 2010 systems. Sorry, our bad. Sorry. It's like I mean, even it wouldn't be so bad, but I mean, 2007 has a problem opening 2010 Office docx files. And forget if you're on pre-2007. If you're on a Microsoft Office Suite older than 07, forget it. Forget it. It ain't gonna work. It's like, it's like Open Office has a better shot of fixing it than. As a matter of fact, I have a client that does that. This is their process. They're using an older Microsoft Office Suite because they can't afford to upgrade. Whenever somebody sends them newer Microsoft Office Suite formats, they open it in Open Office, then save it in a format that their older Microsoft Office Suite can read. So I'm like, that's perfect right there. That's I think we've about hashed this to death. To death with it, we have. Oh.